Hello, welcome to McKinnis Family Farm. My name is Robert McKinnis. Well, it is now officially spring. The snow has melted, it's getting warmer, and the maple sugaring season has finally ended. And now we're getting ready for our next season, and that is the planting season. And we're getting ready for that today by getting our plowing equipment ready. So if you don't know, a plow is a tool that is used to break up the soil to make it easier for us to plant in. Now, plows have been around for 5,000 years. Prior to using the plow, to get a field ready for planting, we'd have to use a hoe like this one to break up the soil, to get rid of any weeds, and create trenches to plant our seeds in. Another tool that was used was a digging stick, was just a stick that drag a trench through the ground so we can plant in, or a seed drill, which is just a stick that we'd use to poke seeds down in the ground. Now, those methods work really well in small plots of land like our gardens around the house here. However, for a large field, those methods make it very impractical. It would take us days, if not weeks, to get a field ready. And by then, we may miss our opportunity for planting. So people got the idea, well, how do we take a large hoe blade and have an animal drag it behind it to break up the soil easier? And that is pretty much how the plow was invented. Now the plow, its basic shape, basic idea and function really hasn't changed in 5,000 years. The biggest change that happened with the plow was the addition of the wheel that was added by the Celts during the Roman era. However, it's just between different cultures, the shape and materials may have changed, but the basic idea stayed the same. Now here in the Americas, the first plows were really just a bent stick with a metal tip at the end. And those worked well, and they were used all the way up until the 1812s. But people wanted a better way of plowing. Thomas Jefferson had a few ideas, he just never got them to patent. Our real mass-produced plows didn't start showing up in America until about 1790. And back then, people were kind of hesitant with the idea of these plows. For one, they had a large cast iron blade on them, and people believed that these plows would cause the land to become poisoned and promote weed growth. It really took them until about the 1820s until the plow was accepted by farmers as now widely used. And there are a few plow makers out there. One that you may be familiar with would be of Mr. John Deere's plows. His plows are widely used now. He has a plow that has a self-polishing blade on them. And they're mostly used right now to help settle the West, like in Iowa and breaking up the prairies. So this is the plow that I have with me today. It's a little bit different from John Deere's plow. John Deere's plow is called a moldboard plow. So it has two blades on it. It has one small blade in the front that helps to break up the plants as it's going forward. And then a larger cast iron blade in the back that will do most of your actual plowing. This plow is a little bit different. It has two smaller blades on it, and then another plate that kind of acts as that mold board. It pushes dirt away, and also to help kind of form our ridges. So when we're going and plowing, the plow is actually going to be doing a few things. So one, it's going to be breaking up the soil, and it's going to make it easier for new plants to grow in it. Another thing it's going to do is, as these blades go through the earth, they're going to cut about 5 to 10 inches down in the ground. And when that does, and as you drag it across, it pulls up nutrients deep in the soil and brings it up toward the surface to allow plants to access those nutrients a little bit easier for them. It also does, it's going to take any weeds and debris from last year's crop, and it's going to bury them so they can then decompose and restore our nutrients down in the soil. And then last thing it's going to do, it's going to create trenches behind it that we call a furrow, where we can actually plant our seeds in later on. So this is our main plow that we have here. So it has the two blades or one plow. Then over here, we actually have where our horse or our oxen would be hooked up to. And then our animal would be in front of us, and they will pull this. I would stand behind it back here with the handles, and pretty much my job is to help to keep it straight and help to keep it from leaning one way or another. I don't have to do any pushing. That's the animal's job, is just to pull it through the ground The only way that we may need to help is if we were to encounter a large rock. If we do that, either we try to pull it out by hand, or we have to get a few people out here and actually remove that stone out of the field. It doesn't happen too often out here, just as we've been farming it for a while now. Every once in a while, to get a stone. So that's our plow, and today what I'm mostly doing is I'm going through all of our screws and bolts, and we are tightening them down. I'm taking my file that I have here, and I am taking out any nicks that might be in the plow blades and help to sharpen them up a little bit. It's going to make it easier to cut through the soil. Then I also got a hammer right here too, in case a piece goes out of place, I can easily put it back in. So, hopefully you enjoyed learning about our plows. I'm going to get back and fixing up this one, and we'll see you next time here on the farm.